So I feel like we haven't really seen too much of Ben Rottenborn after the trial. Actually, we haven't seen anything with Ben Rottenborn. I wonder what he's up to. But this is the transcript, and he's in it. I just want to read this a little bit, okay? The page. There is a representation of a couple, a part of the text message between you and Amber that we looked at earlier, right? Objection assumes, yeah. Facts, vague. And ET, you recognize that to be the logo for Entertainment Tonight, correct? Calls for speculation. I don't know what the logo is, to be honest. Entertainment Tonight was the same outlet that you had a journalist contact you just the day before that we just looked at, right? The one that said she'd obtained my text? Yes. Okay. And at the top of the page, it says, Johnny Depp's assistant, Stephen Deuters, tells TMZ the texts that were posted in which he allegedly apologized to Amber Heard for Johnny's violent behavior are heavily doctored, and he never said Johnny attacked her. Is it your testimony that you never told that to TMZ? Objection. Ask and answer for the third time. Yeah, I never spoke to TMZ. Did you speak with any journalist or press outlet and convey that message to them at TMZ's reporting? No, I didn't speak with anyone. Below, it says, Deuters says he knows of no acts of abuse towards Amber at the hands of Johnny and has never made such a claim to anyone. He adds, Johnny has never been violent towards anyone he knows. Did you see that? I see that, yes. Did you make a statement to that effect, too? TMZ or Entertainment Tonight or any press outlet? I'm afraid I did not. Did you make a statement of that text message, of that text themselves are suspicious because they don't even show a date? Objection. Ask and answer for the sixth time. Argumentative harassment. So if you're wondering, the ones asking the question is Ben Rottenborn. The ones that's answering, I think, is it's Stephen Deuters. Oh, it's Stephen Deuters. Is it? Oh, I thought it was Johnny Depp. It's Stephen Deuters. All right. No. Did you make a statement to Entertainment Tonight, TMZ, or any other press outlet or journalist that you will testify under oath that you never had a conversation about alleged violence with Amber? Same objection. Asked and answered, maybe the seventh time. I've lost count. So we see a little bit of spiciness in Camille Vasquez right here, too. Oh, man. Gotta love it. So funny. I've never had any conversation with TMZ or any other press outlet. No. Did anyone on your behalf have any conversation with TMZ or any other press outlet about the substance of this article? Objection. Calls for gross speculation. Not to my knowledge. Certainly not. And as you sit here today, you're not claiming in any way that a text message between you and Amber were doctored in any way, correct? Objection. Calls for speculation. Calls for legal conclusion. I never found the text, so I can't honestly say whether they were or whether they weren't. You have no basis to believe that text messages were doctored in any way. Objection. Asked and answered. Argumentative. And Mr. Deuters, I'm going to caution you. Actually, I'm going to instruct you not to answer on the basis of attorney-client privilege. Scott, can you read back the question, please? Same instruction. Other than anything that you've learned from your attorneys or communications you had with your attorneys, you have no basis to believe that these text messages were doctored in any way, correct, Mr. Deuters? Same instruction, same objection. Mr. Deuters, are you refusing to answer the question on the basis of your attorney's instruction? On the basis of attorney-client privilege, yes, he is. You are not the witness, Camille. I asked him a question. If he is refusing to answer, you're not testifying here. We got Rottenborn over here being a little bit spicy to Camille now. Mr. Deuters, are you? He's not answering your question that invades attorney-client privilege, Mr. Rottenborn. There's nothing that invades attorney-client privilege, but I'm asking if he's declining to answer. Mr. Deuters, are you taking your counsel's advice and not answering the question? I'm taking counsel's advice. Okay, I'll note. We'll be very likely be coming to court on this. Have you come back for more time, Mr. Deuters? And because that's a wildly inappropriate instruction by your counsel, I made it clear I was not asking for attorney-client communications. I can just see him getting so mad and heated because I think Rottenborn and Nadelhoff, they got frustrated really easily during trial. Like you can see the frustration, the steam coming out of their ears. So I can just see him like rolling his eyes right now. Not the deep voice for Rottenborn. I don't know how to do Rottenborn's voice, okay? It's a little bit like high pitched and whiny, but like I don't know how to do that, okay? I'm doing the best that I can, all right? I'm not an anime voice specialist or anything. Other than attorney-client communications, which I'm not asking about. Do you have any basis to believe that the text that we looked at between... Wait, did I already read this? Oh, no, okay. Which I'm not asking about. Do you have any basis to believe that the text that we looked at between you and Amber Heard are doctored? Mr. Deuters, because you can't answer the question without violating the attorney-client privilege, I'm going to, again, instruct you not to answer. Are you following your attorney's instruction, Mr. Deuters? Yes. Did you ever ask TMZ to retract the statements that they made in that article that were attributed to you? No, we never had any contact with them whatsoever. Were you comfortable with the fact that apparently TMZ published an article that had all sorts of alleged falsehoods about things that you now claim you didn't say? Were you? Did that make you uncomfortable? Objection. Argumentative. Vague. Yeah, I'm not sure what to say. I wasn't paying much attention to that side of things, to be quite honest. I don't recall my feelings at that time. Did you have any conversations with any Johnny's representatives stating that you're uncomfortable, that you had been allegedly misquoted by TMZ? Objection. Misstates prior testimony. Not to my knowledge. I don't remember having conversations with his team, with his lawyer team. No. Did you have any conversation with Johnny's legal team at the time about those text messages? Asked and answered. I can't remember who the legal team were, not to my knowledge. And then it cuts off there. So I just want to read that part because we get a little bit of spiciness between the two lawyers and I love it. Australia shouldn't go after Johnny because Ace was the one who filled out the forms checking off the no when there's no dogs. That's why she's in trouble. Trust me, that whole Australia mess is like there are so many little mini branches of just drama, and it's not just like small stuff. They're pretty big. The one was the Australia thing. The one was what's the name of the agency again? Immigration, I think, where someone reported Amber Heard for having someone illegally work for her, even though they weren't allowed to. But yeah, that's like a whole nother mess as well. I don't know. There's just like a bunch of like messes everywhere that surrounds Amber Heard. It's a lot. It's a lot. Who is Deuters? You know what? I'm actually really, I don't know why, but Stephen Deuters did not testify in the trial. However, his wife, Gina Deuters, did. And she was the one that was asked to step down from the witness stand. So Stephen Deuters is one of the assistants for Johnny Depp. All right, next thing. Oh, yeah, something that I learned. So remember when we were here chatting last time? I was like, who's Eric George? Well, I finally figured out who Eric George is. So someone here told me that Eric George was one of Amber Heard's lawyer. Eric George was actually the lawyer for Amber Heard who helped her with the op-ed. Do you guys remember how people were like, I wonder who's a lawyer that helped Amber Heard with the op-ed because that lawyer should probably be fired, or they were alluding to, you know, maybe that lawyer could be sued by Amber Heard. So now we know who was the one that helped with the op-ed. Eric George. Because I was like, who the heck is Eric George? And then I was wondering who, there were so many other lawyers that she worked with too. So I was starting to get really confused. I'm like, wait, what happened to all the lawyers? Because all we saw was Elaine, we saw Nadelhoff, and we saw Rottenborn. Those were the three main lawyers that we saw representing her. But from reading all this, we finally get to find out. All right, next. Let's see. I'll just read this part really quick. It just talks about other evidence that Johnny Depp and his team wanted to introduce. And Elaine and them were like, no, we should introduce this. So 6. Evidence the following irrelevant personal matters should be excluded. Mr. Depp inappropriately seeks to introduce evidence of the following irrelevant personal matters. 1. Nude pictures of Amber Heard. I wonder if those nude pictures are the one that was posted on that recent House of Habit. Was it those nude pictures or is this something else? 2. Amber Heard's sister's Whitney's reality show video. If you guys don't know about that reality show video, there's just one snippet that blew up online. It was one about where Whitney supposedly had bruises on her, and one of her friends was like, oh, did Amber beat you up again? And I don't know why Amber beat you up because you can totally beat her up. You're bigger than her or something like that. But yeah, that was like a little snippet on the reality TV show. But I haven't seen the entire reality TV show, though. I wonder if it actually made it on air. 3. Whitney and Amber's past romantic relationships. I wonder why they would bring up Whitney's past romantic relationship, unless they're privy of like some sort of like how Amber was, of like the abuse or anything like that. Oh, actually, possibly, because they did say that they did believe that Whitney was also abused by Amber, and that maybe a boyfriend of her at the time may have known that. So I don't know, maybe that's why. 4. Amber's brief stunt as an exotic dancer years before she met Mr. Depp, and Mr. Depp attempted to frivolously and maliciously suggest or imply that Miss Heard was one time an escort. Yeah, when I read that, I was just like, what? What now? But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of random things just coming out about her, but I don't really care that she was a stripper, but it is kind of interesting if we did find out that she was like an escort or something. So I think it's interesting. I wish H. alone wore PPE. Her face alone tanked her testimony. Oh, I don't know, man. I think she would have been too sweaty, too hot, and It would have been, I don't know, that courtroom seemed pretty hot, especially when the sun was coming out during the afternoon. Was she an escort? I don't know. That's what this document says, that Depp was accusing her of being an escort. So I don't know. We don't know that. But it seems that she was an exotic dancer before, but you know. What else is there? Oh, I wanted to skip to page 31 because that's where we find out who Mr. George is. Here it is. At the deposition of Miss Heard's formal counsel, Eric George, on whom Miss Heard relied for advice for the December 18, 2018 Washington Post op-ed. I wonder what Eric George's specialty is or was. Was not actionable by Mr. Depp, including for defamation. Mr. Depp's counsel repeatedly asked questions about the arbitration, suggested that arbitration claim was not meritorious because Mr. Depp had filed a motion to dismiss that was granted for the procedural reasons described above. Mr. Depp asked whether Ms. Heard fired the first shot. Mr. George, an attorney who understood exactly the type of misleading testimony Mr. Chu was trying to elicit, explained the basis of arbitrator's decision and observed that you're misconstruing decision based on a procedural ground and trying to suggest it was based on a substantive ground. Mr. Chu then tried to elicit testimony that arbitrator did not award Ms. Heard compensatory or punitive damages. All these questions are clearly designed to mislead the jury into thinking the arbitrator had ruled on the merits of Ms. Heard's claim, and therefore Mr. Depp, in this case, in alleging he did not abuse Ms. Heard, had already won this through an arbitration proceeding brought by Ms. Heard. So I just thought this was interesting because I had no idea who Eric George was. I just kept hearing about the transcript, the testimony, so I'm like, who the hell is Eric George? But we find out who it is. Oh, hey, Ron. How are you doing today? Thanks for popping in. Now you're curious about E. George. There is actually I think a 200-page transcript when they were doing the questioning for Eric George. I haven't read that yet, but it is available on, what's the website called again? I should know the name of it. Deptrial.net or something?